All right, here we go. From Victory Mondays, from here on out, we're going to sip a little of this purple Kool-Aid and go from there. So that's what you do on Mondays after victories when we go live, or Sunday night after victories when we go live. Get your sip on. Since Bernard Pollard wanted to be a hater, talk about this purple Kool-Aid, we're going to sip it for him. Big time, big time, big time. So like we always do, let's get into the post-game pressers. We're going to start with... Wow, I just got hit with some crazy news. I had to deal with that in a little bit. That's tough right there, though. That's tough. We're going to start with Lamar. What's up, everybody in the chat box? Mo8991, Big Ump, the J Allen 03, Cravens and Raven, Sandy, Kirk Caldwell. Definitely big win. But let's get into Lamar.
We came in a tough atmosphere. The crowd was loud. The weather was, messing with us, knocking out momentum. I was just charged up. I was tired of not scoring. We started dropping the ball downfield. We're not scoring. We're not succeeding. And that's been our goal this whole year. And we've been failing at it. And that drive, it was just like, I ain't finna let it happen again.
Were you having any trouble with the playing conditions? It looked like you got tripped up a couple times.
Yeah, I had to change my cleats, and I had to change back to my originals. That turf sucked to me. It was high. Then the rain didn't help. I'm started sliding and stuff, and it was ticking me off.
Yeah, I did notice a bunch of slipping early in the game.
The other ones I put in the screw-ins was like I was running slow. I'm getting caught by the linebackers. I got to go back to my originals because ain't no way. Can't get caught by no linebackers. And then I got mad. I'm like, bro, we stopping ourselves, and these cleats not helping me, so I got to go back to my originals. I'd rather slide, get some yards, slide, than get caught, from getting more yards.
On the touchdown, did you talk to Harbaugh about...
I told him we going for it. I told him we need to go for it because we didn't score. We drove the ball down the field, first quarter twice. Kick field goals.
Sure did.
Instead of bringing Tuck in, I'm like,
sure
bro, no, not this time. We're not kicking no field goal because Russell Wilson get the ball again, and we didn't score. It might look ugly, so I'm like, we got to score right now.
Did you have any input on the
I wonder if that was an analytic decision or a good decision.
Play, he was telling me he gonna put it in my hands. I'm like, let's go.
What did that mean for you, for him to have that confidence in you and to take your input with that?
Nothing. Well, nothing really. They've been having confidence in me the whole season. So when I just told Harbaugh we need to go for it, he was like, he got faith. I'm gonna get it.
Marlon was just in here, and we kind of talked about a little bit about that the false, the delay of game, and you were very emphatic about it. Marlon said he sensed you going.
Appreciate you, Jared. Appreciate you, $2. What's up?
Do you feel that way after that?
Big time, super chat. Appreciate it.
Like I said, we can't kill ourselves, and when we kill ourselves, it's my job to make us right, and I had to do it. Definitely.
Man, I love our quarterback, man. I love it. I love that guy.
Offensive line doing a great job. They pushing those guys, giving our running backs great running lanes to hit, and our guys did a great job. I dropped back the pass. I'm not getting the look I wanted. I just got to make guys miss and do what I do.
What was the special to get a win with Earl Thomas?
Heck yeah. Yeah, I told him, I said, we're going to win for you. I know you've been here years. This is your original home.
Definitely MVP candidate.
I'm
Definitely.
going to put you on my back. Put the team on my back. If I got to, we're going to win.
Lamar, did you have to do a lot of talking, or did you sense Coach Harbaugh
No.
was itching to go for it too?
When I walked back, I was mad. He was like, what you wanted to go for? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I want to go for it. Then he was like, all right, we're going to go for it. He called the time
I think so too, Jay Allen.
I'm like, we finna get this first
We're going to talk about that later.
You guys took over the game after that. Do you feel like that kind of pumped everybody up? It was a huge message in that game.
It did. It gave our defense more confidence to stop those guys. It gave our offensive line great confidence. It just gave the whole team confidence. Even the coaches were pumped up. So
right.
We just got to do that week in, week out.
That's what leaders do. Small pause is. That's what real leaders do. That by their actions or their words or their play, they motivate everybody else. Sometimes it's intentional and sometimes it's unintentional. But with his actions, his as hard as he plays, and his raw emotion, that you can't ask for much more in a leader. But let's look at the stats real quick and go from there, because y'all know how I love the stat book. And what stood out to me was, again, Lamar rushed for 112, I think. Let me make sure. Lamar rushed for 116. He was 9 for 20 passing with 143 yards. And I know for a fact there were 4 drops in there. Because they were from Andrews. What up, Catch Pokemons? I see you. As far as passing wise, nobody had over 2 catches, even though Borkin had that big 50-yard catch early in the game, which was huge. Peters had the interception. Let's stay offensive, though. Go down to time of possession. Yeah. So, everybody knows time of possession is my favorite stat with us. Snead dropped 1 too, so that's 5. We lost time of possession, but only by 6 seconds. So, I can deal with that. It was a pretty much even time of possession, and we got 2 big turnovers, so that kind of helps us out. But what really stood out to me was, and I didn't notice it watching the game originally. I just rewatched it a few minutes ago before I got on live. Our defense was lights out second half. The field goal we gave up at the end of the game really was garbage time because the game was out of reach. Defense was lights out. Let's look at Seattle's second half possessions. End of the half. So there's 6 possession. They punt, miss field goal, punt, fumble, and field goal. Now, and time possession was even, but check out their time possession in the second half. 2 minutes and 8 seconds. 4 minutes and 43 seconds. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. 10 seconds, and 1 minute and 48 seconds. So the only reason they were even time possession, because they must have dominated the first half. Yeah, I'm doing call-ins. I'm going to get to them. The only reason, because they must have dominated time possession in the first half. The second half, I know our defense was lights out. Here it is right here. Seattle had the ball for 17 minutes and 45 seconds in the first half. And it's 24, and it's 20, and we had it for 11. So yeah, they won it by 6. And then we won it by, 16, 17 to 12. We won it by 6 in the second. So that's pretty much even. They won time possession by 6 minutes in the first half. We won it by 6 in the second. So my main stat kind of was even in that. So hey, we still got the job done. Those 2 huge defensive turnovers. The new guy Marcus Peters came in with a pick 6. Him and somebody else was playing smash concept, and the guy sat. So he China and got back up under the corner. And Russell Wilson pump faked and tried to come back to the little hitch, and Peters jumped it to the house. Another big play toward the end. DK Metcalf, somebody who they thought we were going to pick up as far as a receiver that I didn't want because injury situations. But he's been healthy so far, been playing good for Seattle. But I'm kind of glad we got who we got. And I noticed it. I knew he fumbled, but I didn't know the gist of how he fumbled until I watched it a few minutes ago. And I noticed early in the game he had on long sleeves, but it was like a long sleeve T-shirt. It wasn't like underarm or something with tack on the forearm. He just basically had on a long sleeve T-shirt. Now, I don't know the exact material, but it looked like a T-shirt. So he makes the catch, turns up, goes to switch the ball to the outside hand, which the receiver's supposed to do, and it slides right off that shirt. And then it get kicked around, and Marlon comes in, scoops it up for another touchdown. So that's 2 big plays for Marlon, to kind of put games away at the end. And even though he didn't really force it, anytime you scoop and score, hey, that's a bonus. The check for Marlon just keep going up. Hold on, I'm thirsty. Well, that purple Kool-Aid is good. Make sure we don't give Bernard Pollard no purple Kool-Aid. He is not allowed to drink purple Gatorade, Powerade, Kool-Aid, purple drink. He can't have nothing purple. He can't even have Crown Royal. So, keep Bernard Pollard out of it. But back to the game. The defensive stats. Let's see who led us in tackles. Bynes led us with 8 tackles. Hey, and I don't know if you saw the video last week. Bynes and Fort, them guys did a great job of filling their gaps. And there was one play in particular I was watching. They ran like a stretch right, and Bynes stayed behind the play. And when the running back stuck his foot in the ground and tried to hit it up in the B gap, Bynes was right there to smack him in the mouth. So, guys, them 2 linebackers we got right there, they may not be starters, they may not be stars, but they are professionals, and they're doing their job so far. Still a long season to go. We're what? We got a bye this week. Coming to week 8. So we 5-2. Is that right? 5-2. Chat box, check me and make sure. I think we 5-2 with a bye week coming in New England after that bye week. And a lot of people doubted us. I didn't. The closer we got to the game, the more confident I was about our game. Now, one thing did come true that I kind of assumed. The fact that we picked up Peters, we got a lot more pressure on the QB. So imagine as if that was a quarterback that couldn't move like Russell, how many sacks we would have had. And I don't know if we had any sacks at all. Let's see. We had one. Fort had a sack. We had 1 sack, but we had a lot of pressure. I wonder if they keep over hurries in here. If they do, I can't tell which one of these. No, not in this one. They don't. QB hits. We got 8 hits, I think. 8 hits, 7 tackles for loss. But I saw a lot of pressure, a lot of man on man, and if that's one of them quarterbacks that stand there, he would have had some heat on him yesterday. Now, let's let me get to the phone lines and go from there. Let me open up the phone line, and then we be ready to chit chat for a little bit. Let me see how y'all feel about it. All right, we got 31 people in here. Hit the like button, people, while I get this situated. Hit the like button. Carry on. Make sure you get your purple Kool-Aid. Make sure you have it for next week. Well, not next week, in 2 weeks when we beat New England. Make sure you get your purple Kool-Aid. Coming. Give me a second. Let me set it up.
Call.com.
Okay.
There is one host in this conference.
All right. So, phone lines open. When you guys ready, hit me up. I know how you guys feel about the game and what you liked, what you didn't like, what you saw that we need to improve on, and just overall in general. Hit the phone lines up. Oh, got somebody here. I'm sure that's Craven. Yep, ideas. All right, we got Cravens and Raven on. What's good, buddy?
Not much. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I'm on speakerphone, so I don't know if it's coming through pretty well.
Yeah, I hear you. Chat box, give me a thumbs up for Craven if you hear him. I hear him pretty good. But go ahead, what you got?
What a great game. And we talked about it last week that a lot of the national kind of consensus on Lamar was going to change after this game. And he goes out, puts up some, not stellar numbers, but doing what he always does, doing those great athletic plays. And now you got everyone who was doubting him finally actually watching a game with Lamar in it, watching every single play, and going, damn, this guy's pretty good.
Right.
The conversation was about Russell Wilson for MVP, but everyone's talking about Lamar. I mean, maybe that's just because I'm a Ravens fan and I got the blinders on, but it just seems like more people are talking about Lamar now.
Right.
And all this hype about Russell Wilson.
I think the reason they're talking about him is because he kind of willed that game. That wasn't a great game. That was a kind of ugly game, but he played enough football to lead his team. I think his impact yesterday was more of a leader than statistical. He did some things that he didn't have a lot of design runs. He had a lot of those runs that I like. That pass plays were called, and he just got out and made plays. Those are the runs that I like, because design runs, you kind of take them hit square on. But the pass plays where you can drop back and everybody's covering receivers and you just find your spot and go, that's what I like. That's what I like. And then he can make his way and get out of bounds or get down. He did an excellent job with his feet yesterday, and not a bad job with his arm. He just had all those drops. Because I know I saw 4 from Andrews. Somebody said Snead had one, and I saw something on Twitter that says 7 of his 11 incompletes were drops. I know 5 were definitely.
Yeah, I'm thinking Mark Andrews. I'm thinking his diabetes. They were acting up because he was not catching a single thing. Probably his gloves or whatever.
He did have one good catch. He had one good catch.
Yeah, he had. But like, what happened after that? So I'm just gonna blame it on his blood sugar. He's kind of got that built-in excuse, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just blame it on that. But you know, it was still, you know, before the game, it's like, okay, it's gonna be raining. Well, of course, it's Seattle. It's always raining. But that goes for us, right? Because that is our style of game. Our style of game is run the ball, time of possession,
right,
and get that defense going.
Exactly.
And so when it's an ugly, disgusting day, this is when we can kind of do our stuff, play our game. And the Seahawks, they kind of play the same way, but we out-Seahawks them.
Exactly.
We Baltimore Seahawks. So
we flew around a lot faster than they did. We flew around a lot faster. If you go back and look at the game, and I'm sure you have, man, Russell Wilson was under some smoke.
Yeah.
He was under smoke. That second half, definitely. We got a lot of not a lot, but we got a bunch of roughing the passers that to me were suspect. They were suspect, and had they not got those, they would have even less yards. He was under heat from everybody. Even Earl almost got a sack on him one time, but I think the tackle kind of chipped him off at the last minute.
Mm-hmm. They were getting some pressure. Even LJ Fort, like I think in the first quarter, you know, Russell Wilson got out of the pocket, started running. It's like, oh shit, here we go.
Open field tackle.
A ton of green, and then LJ Fort out of nowhere with a great open field
tackle. I remember that.
Right at the line of scrimmage.
Nobody was in the screen but Fort and Russell Wilson. That great open field tackle. Mm-hmm. Man, it's. I don't think people realize how hard it is to tackle guys in the open field by themselves. Because when you one-on-one with a guy, that's so designed for the offense to win. It's so designed because you know you want to go and you got to react as a defensive player. It's so that's why defensive teams have to gang tackle because it's so tough to tackle a guy in open field. Quarterback or anybody, it's just so tough. But what you think about the turnovers? Tell me what you think about Peters.
Dude, it's huge, man. You know, they scored 16 points. The defense itself scored 14. And you know, this is what our team is designed to play like. Our team is designed to play great defense, you know, not allow much to happen. Now, unfortunately, we've had a ton of injuries, so we're not able to play 100% our game. And so we play just great defense, turn the ball over, and then win that time of possession battle. You know, really control the game. And once we got those turnovers, you know, in that second half, you were talking about time of possession, you know, that allowed us to really play that time possession game. I think in the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, we had 2 possessions that accounted for damn near a whole quarter, like 14 minutes and like 30 seconds or like 26 seconds, something crazy. In the second
half.
Yeah, back-to-back possessions. It was the one where we ended up scoring the touchdown on that 4th and 2, that drive, and then it was the next drive after that where we scored a field goal. But we started at the 10-yard line, then through penalty got back to the 5-yard line, and it ended up being like a 96-yard drive that took up 9 minutes of game time, which is crazy.
Right.
And going with the
touchdown drive was 5 minutes 26 seconds. The field goal drive was 9 minutes. So that's 14-26, like you said, in 2 drives.
Yeah, I was literally just looking at it before, because I recorded a podcast earlier and I was talking about it.
Okay.
Because there was a whole sequence when they were winning that time possession battle, and then he was like, oh man, this is not good. They're playing our game, because it was, they drive down the whole field, we get that pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get the ball back, and then they drive down again and get a field goal. Then it's halftime, and then they get the ball out of the second half. So in actual game time, it was really only like 9 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember off the top of my head. But in actual like life, it was like 40 minutes of Lamar not having the ball.
Right, that's a long time.
I'm glad finally, in the second half, they got the ball and they were able to move it and play their game. And those turnovers, those were very instrumental in that.
Shout out Ing Raven for being in the chat box. Rob Smoke, I appreciate you coming. I think this might be your first time. This is my first time noticing your Avi. Catch Pokemon, Will Tyler, Be More Facts. I appreciate all you guys joining me and Craven on here sometime. And make sure, if you're new to this channel, it's other Ravens YouTubers out there too that put out content just as good as mine. You got Ing Raven here in the chat box. You got Joe Newbo. There's an NF podcast on Twitter. You got Sonny for SCG Sports. What's the B word starting up? You got Cravens and Raven, my co-host, so to speak. And who am I forgetting somebody? Oh, you got Birdland BS with Fred and
Birdland.
Who's Fred? What's Fred's co-host name? You know, I want to say Rob, but I don't think it ain't Rob. But just know Fred with Birdland BS. A lot of them guys put out great content, and we go there. And now, we don't do much profanity on here. Scott, that's what it is. We don't do much profanity on here, but definitely listen to Ing Raven in here. We team keep it clean. We support the movement. All right.
All right, I'll try to keep it clean.
Keep it clean. we got company, so keep it clean. All right. But let's talk about Peters. Let's talk about Peters and Edgar Allen. Edgar Allen does some good stuff too. Appreciate it, Grimy Intellect. Let's talk about Peters.
Yeah, man. Marcus Peters. I mean, coming off a short week, that's huge. You can't ask a player to do much more than that. And this is like the second, third player to do this, right? You've already talked about Pines
the fourth.
And Ford coming in on a short week and playing well and outplaying the guys we already have. We had injuries in the secondary, so he had to step up. And luckily, he had some familiarity with this team. He's played them before. He played them like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So luckily, he was able to get in there. It was probably
helped the team out
for him.
He probably helped the team out.
Yeah, dude.
And scouting.
Yeah, in his interview, he said that he helped the team mostly by just saying, "Hey, watch out for that field. It's wet, I guess." So, I guess he warned them about that.
But as far as those new people you talked about, you had Jahad Ward that came in off the street. Yeah, you had L.J. Fort, Josh Bynes, and those guys came off the street. This was a trade, which is a little bit different, but he still was not there last week. This time last week he was not there, so that's really a big time. Just think about the job DeCosta's doing. Yeah,
he is killing it, man.
DeCosta is killing it right now, boy. He is killing
right player,
it.
Right DeCosta.
he is killing it right now. I appreciate all this. He just didn't stand pat. He didn't just say, "Hey, this gonna work itself out. You just gotta be patient." No, we gotta go make it happen. Go make it happen. Now, the only thing.
What do you think about
Go ahead.
So now, Pernell McPhee's injured.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that right before I got on.
Move, right?
That's the hope. We're gonna have to. We already short on edge rushers. We're gonna have to do something. But having Peters, having Jimmy come back by the time we get to New England, we just gonna have to take chances. We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
we can't let Tom just sit there and pat. No, hit us for 6. Pat, hit us for 8. Pat, hit us for 4. We can't.
Yeah.
We have to get after him, and you got to take chances.
It seems like we don't get sacks, but we apparently statistically just have a ton of pressures. And watching the games, it's like, yeah, we've gotten pressures, and luckily Tom Brady's one of those guys. He gets a little bit of pressure, and that man's going down. He is just hitting the ground like, don't touch me, TB12.
Just think about if all the heat we got on Russell Wilson yesterday, if that was a Tom Brady or Matt Ryan or somebody that's kind of a standstill guy. Now we might have had 8-9 sacks. And don't forget about the 11-sack game last year on Mariota, and Mariota can move.
Yeah, and that's just Mariota's just terrible.
Yeah. I just brought his name up because of last year we had that big game against him. But
that 11-sack game, which was crazy.
Right.
Didn't see that coming.
Exactly. I'm thinking about doing some work with this O-line film session wise, because just looking at the movement we were getting Lamar had 8 yards per rush. Ingram had like 4. Gus had like 4.5. And we rushed for 199. Again, we missed 200 because of kneel downs.
Yeah. Damn.
We missed 200 because of kneel downs. You know what I do like though? I like the fact that Lamar's going to other guys, even though they're only getting 2 or 3, targets. I like the fact that Hollywood's not out there. He's not forcing it to him. I love that. So now when Hollywood comes back, he don't have to lock in on Hollywood and Ingram. You can trust Seth Roberts. You can trust Chris Moore. I don't think Chris Moore had a catch last night, but you can trust. Well, you already can trust Willie Snead. Go to other guys. Don't force it to Hollywood. Don't force the Hollywood. Don't force Andrews. Even though Andrews is our best receiver, but he didn't look like it yesterday.
Yeah, maybe it was part of the game plan. Don't pass as much because, like I said, it was raining and the guys were having trouble handling the ball. So maybe at a certain point they were calling pass plays, and Lamar's like, all right, I'm just going to run this. He said it in his post-game interview. I'm just going to put the team on my back, ride me. And that's excellent leadership by a young player. What, he's only 22? Like, are you kidding me? And he's already showing this much, like, fortitude, I guess, in the leadership department. It's huge. This is going to be huge for us going down the line. Like, these next couple years, no matter what people say about him getting injured, he's a great leader, and he's going to be a huge part of this team going forward.
That's what people don't realize. His leadership skills at some point going to outplay his game. His leadership skills going to outplay his game. And he's going to be a better passer. He's going to run less. But as he goes up as a leader, man, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Yeah, you think we're getting all this improvement from just 1 year, and then you think like 2-3 years down the line, what that brings, especially with the rest of the AFC North. Are they making big moves? Are they getting better? Cleveland got as many big moves as you could possibly get, and yet they're still not looking too good. So this looks like it could be the start of a Ravens dominating AFC North. That's like looking way down the line. We still got tons of games to get through this year, but to me, it's all looking up. This is a huge statement win.
A big time. Cause I don't think very many people. I wish I could go back and look at like the NFL Network, like what they picked, and then CBS how they picked. I just I can go back and look and see how many people picked us, because I didn't get a chance to see the. I don't watch the pregame shows, not because I don't like them, because I actually do my high school work Sunday mornings, so I don't get to see the pregame shows and who they pick and all that. But I'm sure nobody picked us to win. Dion maybe because he's a Lamar guy, but I don't think any of those other guys picked us to win. It was the only one, the bald skinny guy. On which show, Grimy Intellect? Was it CBS or NFL Network? I'm waiting on this little chat box answer. Scoop up AB. No, indeed. AB gonna mess up our chemistry, man. AB gonna mess up our chemistry. Bro. But let me address what Big Unk said. Big Unk says Peters' pick six was a classic bait and switch. The X and Z were on a smash route. Peters faked that he was bailing the cover zone. Once Wilson switched his eyes to the receiver, he pounced, which is right. Because what they do is, and I said it earlier, I don't know if Big Unk was on, when you get the little smash concept and the corner recognizes it, they call China, which means he's going to try to get up under that corner and just give up the hitch. Well, he got up under the corner, and Russell Wilson took his eyes off of him, and not only did he took his eyes off the deep guy and looked at the corner, he pump faked to the corner, which gave Peters even more time to go get it, and picked it up and easy selling. Pick six, buddy. Pick six. That was crazy. When I saw that, no, I'm lying. Not when I saw that. When we were finna kick that field goal and we called timeout, and the offense came back out on the field, I said, if we get this first down, they might be in trouble. And then when we scored a touchdown, I said it was over. I said it was over.
Huge momentum shift.
When we got the touchdown, I said it was over. And I love Lamar's emotion, enthusiasm, drive, just simply off that delay of game. But what people won't see about that I noticed is, even though he was PO'd about it, he went and tapped the center on the head and was kind of like we messed up, but let's go, let's get it right. It wasn't just a heart like you should have snapped it and what you doing, and it was like, come on, man, let's get it right. Those little things right there matter. That's leadership skills. That stuff right there can't be taught. You got to be born with stuff like that.
Too.
Say again?
He always takes the blame.
Yes, he does.
He always takes the blame in his interviews. He doesn't spread the blame around. It's always on him.
Yep.
This is my bad. I could have done this. These guys are helping me out, but I didn't produce today.
Exactly.
And that's huge, man. That is huge.
I also saw Ian Raven pointed something out.
Awesome.
Ian Raven pointed something out that on the, I think it was the scoop and score from Marlon, how Lamar was on the sideline cutting up, and I didn't see it till I saw his I think it was his Twitter. Lamar's on the sideline cutting up after that scoop and score, which is what you need. Just think about, and I hate to keep bringing Joe back up, but let's just put them let's put them in the same scenario yesterday. Marlon scoops and scores. Lamar's all on the sideline, happy, ready to celebrate, ecstatic, and I could just see Joe sitting on the bench, looking at the box, looking at the big screen. Good job. Just like that.
Yeah, no, Joe would be doing nothing. He'd be like, "Yep, that's cool. All right."
Right.
Stay chill, though.
This is it.
He shows
Even
no
kill.
emotion.
None.
There were some positives to that, and I felt like I was always like, "Nah, Joe. He apparently is a good guy. I've never met the guy, but it's like, oh, he's chill. He's a good, quiet leader." And it's like, well, I shouldn't have to defend him. You should be able to read someone's emotions somewhat on the sideline. He was just stone-faced, and
football's an emotional game, man.
There were negatives with that. Like,
football is an emotional game. I know you want your quarterback to be even keel, and since we can all kind of unanimously say Tom Brady's the GOAT, right? Tom Brady's rarely even keel. When stuff go good for Tom, Tom lets you know about it. So you can't, just saying you're supposed to be even keel and that's where your quarterback's supposed to be. Nah, I need to see some fire in my quarterback. Because Marlon even said it after the something Lamar did. He got fired up. And tell me his energy can't move the whole team. Just his energy by itself.
Exactly. I think all Ravens Nation kind of feels it too, because we're going from a Joe Flacco to a Lamar, and we're all getting hyped. We're all getting behind Lamar. Like everyone on the team, you can tell is they're always hanging out and talking to Lamar, offense, defense, special teams. They always are, and even somewhat if we go and beat an opponent like today or yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was, the Seahawks. They lost, and they're talking to the defensive players, and they're just like, man, Lamar's the real deal. It's nothing but respect, because it almost seems like Lamar is treated like a player. He's not like
treated like a quarterback, right?
Where they're kind of put on a pedestal somewhat. So they treat him. They understand that he is a player of football. He's not like, you're Tom Brady. Oh, let me just bow down and kiss your toes, but. Lamar, it just seems like he's one of the guys. People respect that.
Exactly. That's exactly what he feels. It feels like he can hang out with the O-linemen. He can hang out with the DBs. He can kick it with the running backs. He can kick it with every group on the team. Specialists, everything. He's that. He's a dude, man. I don't know no other way to say it. He a dude.
I'll hang out with him.
He a dude. He can go and whatever D linemen like to do, he can go do it with them. And he also the type of guy that when they do go somewhere, you better not blow on them, because everybody's gonna come to his defense. Lamar's the type of guy that can go out with like 4 other players, and those 4 other players won't let anybody touch him. But Lamar's so likable, it won't even get to that, because you'll have some fans that love Lamar so much that they won't let whoever the hater is in the group get to him. That's how likable and how much of a down to earth guy Lamar is. His energy is infectious. And he can lead this team. He can lead this team.
You think he wins? You think he wins MVP this year?
A lot of stuff got to bounce right. Because it's a dude that just threw 5 touchdowns the other day that could throw his name in that hat later on too. That it's a lot of things got to bounce right. I would love it.
I feel like it's a hype award. I feel like Lamar, his style of play generates a lot of hype.
I'm gonna go ahead and bag up on a little thing I said earlier before the season started. I think Steve, what's the guy that follows all us? He loves Lamar too. He's from Louisville. I think Steven. Steven said Lamar was gonna have 3,000 yards and 1,000 yards rushing, and I said no way. I got to back up off that. I got to. And if he gets those numbers, if he can go 3,500 and 1,000, I don't see how you cannot give him the MVP. If he can get to those numbers.
Now I wonder.
And Lamar, like you, Lamar, Lamar says it's a stretch for Lamar to win an MVP, but I want him to win the Super Bowl MVP. I'm 100% in agreement with you. Forget the regular season MVP.
Yeah.
Win the Super Bowl MVP, which means we got another Super Bowl trophy, and I'll take it any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Yeah, I'd much rather have that, right?
Any day of the week, right? Because that NFL MVP kind of only really sits in when your career's over. When the experts try to judge you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean...
And an MVP quarterback has never won the Super Bowl.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
like
did
a
not know
regular
that.
season MVP.
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Because my one buddy who's a Patriots fan always brings that up because, Tom Brady's won the MVP, but he's never won the Super Bowl and the MVP in the same year.
Wow. I never knew that. That's a good fact. That's a good fact.
Oh,
Let's dive into some individual play. What did you think about the linebackers? How do you think they played? Just off for TV look.
They look good. I mean, after the first series, LJ Fort coming in and making that open field tackle. They could have done nothing the rest of the day, and I would have been like, all right, that was a success. But like Josh Bynes, he got in the backfield a couple times. LJ Fort got the sack. These linebackers are playing out of their mind for what were they, pennies on the dollar?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like hay pennies on the dollar from the street. Pick them up off the ground. Like, ooh, lucky day, I got a penny. Heads up,
Right.
But these guys, they are killing it, and it seemed like before all the talk about with our linebackers was we're not fast enough at the linebacker position. Well, here's two veterans not known for speed,
mm-hmm.
and it's a great debate, smarts versus speed. These guys are definitely smart players because they may be 2 steps behind with their speed, but they're 3 steps ahead with how they play the game.
Right, in that grab responsibility.
That extra step, by knowing what to do. And these guys, they're killing it. So it's, you can't really say anything bad because they've produced so well.
Right.
And
even if they don't produce a lot of tackles, they're where they're supposed to be. I even saw one play where Ferguson set an edge. Finally, he set an edge, like for real, set an edge.
You got Lockett.
And when the run, it might have been Lockett or somebody turned it back in, the linebackers were there to smack him in the mouth. Smack him in the mouth.
Yeah, he tried to get around him, realized he couldn't, and then Ferguson was there and just put him to the turf.
Yeah. So, hey, if he keep coming along, If he find a counter to that bull rush, watch out. Maybe not this year.
Mm-hmm.
If he find a counter to that bull rush, I'm gonna stick with it. Watch out. Lamar has more rushing than the Chicago Bears. Wow. I think somebody did tell me he has more rushing yards than some teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it's like 6 or 7 teams at this point.
All right, chat. Let's do this with the chat box. We got 45 people in here. Give me a stat line in the chat box. Type it up. That will win Lamar the MVP. That's just.
I got one for you.
Give me a stat line that will win Lamar the MVP. That's what we want to do.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
So, I think it was on PFT. They were talking about it, talking about Lamar, and they brought up this new stat that they just came up with, and they called it a double triple. And it's when a player has basically 100 or more yards in 2 separate categories. So it's like rushing and receiving, or passing and rushing. So obviously Lamar is passing and rushing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done that 4 times already in his career. Mike Vick did it 8 times in his career. Total. And how many years did he play? And then also There's some other players like Christian McCaffrey. He's never done it. Every single 1,000 player that we've ever had has never done that. Has never had a game with 100 yards passing or receiving. So you're talking about a guy.
I think Falk may have that number. Marshall Falk may have those numbers. And the only reason I say that because when I first got into fantasy, Marshall Falk used to win me the league a lot. But go ahead.
Yeah, but it's all about like doing it in a single game. And apparently, throughout history, every person who's done 1,000 and 1,000 hasn't done the double triple, hasn't done the 100 receiving and 100 rushing. This isn't my stat that I came up with, so they could just be lying to all of the internet when they say that. But it's just an interesting fact that Lamar is just producing at such a high level in both phases of the game and so consistently that he's already halfway to what Michael Vick has done in that particular stat.
Okay, that's crazy. That because you think about it, you don't have to call running plays for you. Technically, don't have to call running plays for Lamar to get you 50 to 75 yards. He can get you 50 to 75 yards if you just called all pass plays.
Yeah. I kind of want to see him call more pass plays just so that we'll have our designated run plays where we can fake out with Lamar and still go to the running backs. But we could just call more pass plays just so he has more chances to get a 30-yard scramble. Because we're going to be playing a man-to-man team, and that's when you can get those huge scrambles. We're going to be playing the Patriots. They have a heavy man scheme, so their backs are going to be turned.
Yeah.
Depending on what Belichick decides to do, he might change things up, obviously. But, going up against the man squad, we are going to be able to get so many yards through Lamar.
So looking forward, we obviously have this bye week coming up. We should have Jimmy back. Should have pretty much everybody back that can be back coming off the bye week. And the word on the street is, well, not the word on the street, Bill Belichick takes away your best thing. So I'm asking the chat box and you, Craven, what do you think Bill Belichick would try to take away from the Ravens to beat us? Because they say he takes away your best thing and makes you do other things. So what is that best thing that we do that Bill Belichick's going to try to take away?
I think he tries to stack the box and play man-to-man on the outside.
Okay.
Just go one-on-one coverage and put like 8-9 in the box every single play. Now, hey, Lamar, go throw against us. But, like you said, getting Hollywood back, just toss one over the top, see if he comes down with it. That's my hope.
But, I got Gilmore, too.
Yeah, that's true. Gilmore's are very good.
Gilmore's going to probably follow Hollywood if he's back. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough challenge.
It's tough, man.
But we got 2 weeks to get ready for it.
NFL history,
We got 2 weeks to get ready for it. 2 weeks to get ready for it.
If Joe can beat the Patriots, I think Lamar can, right? If you're just going off that logic.
Yes, definitely. I'm just excited. I'm really excited to see this all 22 and check out this run game and to see kind of how they fit Peters in defensively. It was hard to see from the TV version, but I'm really interested to see some of these runs because we were pounding them at one time. I mean, even with Lamar runs mixed in there, we were pounding them. Gus had some outstanding power runs. Outstanding. But, so what I'm going to do is, because I want to kind of catch the rest of this game also, we're going to kind of shut this down that we've been going for 50 minutes. And, give you a shout out for your podcast.
It's just Cravens and Raven podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on iTunes, like Google Play, Spotify. So it's on most of the podcasting apps. It's just me as a Ravens fan, talking Ravens football, going over the games, what I saw, maybe like how things are going forward. I do each week I do a pod where I give out game picks and talk about sports bets and what I put money on and everything. And so this week, little shout out to myself. I went right now. If the Patriots win, I'll be 13-1 this week in my game picks. I had the Raiders winning over the Packers, and that was just not true. But every other game, I got right. So if you want to know who's going to win, you just listen to the podcast. It's not just a podcast; it's a way of life because we are all Cravens and Ravens, right?
I got you. I like the way you dropped that in at the end right there. I appreciate it. But as for me, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. I love the way the chat box has been interactive this tonight. So if you have comments afterwards, put it up under there, and we'll still talk about it. If you don't follow me on Twitter, my Twitter is Coach Evans 9. IG is Sip the Tally. So I'm always, got that stuff close to me. And if I'm not kind of dealing with kids, I'll answer it and whatnot, and we can go from there. But I love talking ball. Ravens Roundup is the kind of the show. You can get you some Ravens Roundup gear. There's a link in the description. Got some Sip the Tally gear. There's a link in the description of that. And pretty much, I think I'm going to play the commercial. And we going to be out, Craven. So let me go back to studio mode. And no, I ain't going to do that. I'm just going to cut it out because I don't know if the commercial is there. So we going to end it just like that. I appreciate you. And this is Coach Evans for Cravens and Raven. Have a good night, fellas.